Today we're test driving the all-new Toyota RAV4 and we're going to do a fuel economy test to see how well it performs. As you can see right now, I have a full tank of fuel, and on this full tank my fuel range is estimated to be 436 kilometers before I run completely out of fuel. You'll also notice I have my trip meter here on the screen, and they both currently read 0. We're going to be driving this over the week and see how many kilometers we complete, and after that we'll head to the gas station to see how much it costs to fill up, so stay tuned. Now let's do a highway fuel economy test to see what the lowest fuel economy you can achieve in the RAV4 is. You'll notice that my average fuel economy currently reads 0 liters per 100 kilometers. That's because we just reset it. So let's get this test started. The reason we do this test over several kilometers is because we want to get an average over the drive of several kilometers. It's not possible to do an average highway fuel economy test just by doing 2 or 3 kilometers, just because when you do those 2 or 3 kilometers you could be doing it either uphill or downhill, and that might not give you the best or most accurate number in terms of average fuel economy for your highway test. By doing this over several kilometers, we're able to aggregate that over the several kilometers that we drove to get a better idea of our actual highway fuel economy during a long span of time. That could include uphill, it could include downhill, and for the most part it could include straight roads as well. So that's why we did this test over several kilometers. But this concludes our test, and as you can see, we were able to get it as low as 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers. And at the end there, we had a little uphill stretch, which brought it up to 5.9 liters per 100 kilometers. But I would probably say that you could expect around 5.8 liters per 100 kilometers on a straight road if you were to do this test yourself. But yeah, based on our test, it was anywhere between 5.7 and 5.9 liters per 100 kilometers, which is really good for an SUV in this category. We just spent the week testing the RAV4, and we have some numbers here we'd like to share with you. As you can see, we've driven a total of 334.3 kilometers, and so far our average fuel economy according to the vehicle is rated at 9.3 liters per 100 kilometers. The distance to empty is 176 kilometers, and you'll notice that we have slightly less than a half tank of fuel left. My driving conditions have been pretty basic. I haven't had the air conditioning or the heating on at all, but I have had the sound system on the whole time. Also worth mentioning is I did around 70% of my driving in the city and 30% on the highway, just to give you an idea of how I got the numbers that I did. You'll notice we're at the fuel station right now, and we're going to fill it back up, and based on that we'll do some calculations to get a better idea of how much you can actually expect to spend on a full tank of fuel, as well as your actual fuel economy based on my driving. As you can see, we spent $38.60 to fill up 30.9 liters of fuel at a fuel cost of $1.249 per liter. As you just saw, we spent $38.60 to fill up 30.9 liters of fuel at a fuel cost of $1.249 per liter. Also worth noting is the RAV4's fuel capacity is 55 liters or 14.5 gallons. What we're going to do now is we'll calculate our kilometers per liter number to get an idea of how many kilometers we can travel on every liter of fuel. To do that, we'll take the 334.4 kilometers that we've driven so far and divide it by the 30.9 liters of fuel that we filled up. So 334.4 kilometers divided by 30.9 liters gives us 10.8 kilometers per liter. That means on every liter of fuel, you can expect 10.8 kilometers of driving. Now what we're going to do is we'll calculate our actual fuel range based on my driving. To do that, we'll take the 10.8 kilometers per liter number that we achieved and multiply it by the fuel tank capacity, which is 55 liters. So 10.8 kilometers per liter multiplied by 55 liters gives us 594 kilometers. That means on a full tank of fuel, based on my driving, you can expect 594 kilometers of driving. Now let's calculate our cost per kilometer, and how we're going to do that is we'll take the $38.60 that we filled up for and divide it by the 334.4 kilometers that we drove. So $38.60 divided by 334.4 kilometers gives us 0.11. That means every kilometer in the RAV4 costs us 11 cents Canadian. And finally, let's calculate the cost of a full tank of fuel. First, let's do it for Toronto, Canada, where the fuel price is $1.249 per liter. So $1.249 per liter multiplied by the RAV4's fuel capacity, which is 55 liters, gives us $68.70 Canadian. That means a full tank of fuel, if you were to fill up in Toronto, Canada, would cost you $68.70 Canadian. Now let's cross the border into Detroit, USA, where the fuel price is $2.30 per gallon. So $2.30 per gallon multiplied by the RAV4's fuel capacity, which is 14.5 gallons, gives us $33.35 US. That means a full tank of fuel, if you were to fill up in Detroit, USA, would cost you $33.35. Overall, the RAV4 achieves decent fuel economy. What's impressive is its ability to do that without requiring any CVTs or turbos that would otherwise deliver a lackluster driving experience in other SUVs.